Alright, just quickly wanted to show this trade right here that I'm currently in. Market executed right there. On the open of the candle actually, I didn't execute on the fair value gap itself. Reason being, if I covered that high, which the high for that to cover is very reasonable, because above that there's no fair value gap that I can come into. If it creates the 4-hour fair value gap, which still has 4 hours to go, then it doesn't have to sting all the way in there. Okay, it can happen, but right there to squeeze out the RR, it was also very easy to target the 1 to 2 right there, still within the context, because the context is that daily fair value gap that we're coming into, targeting that low right there. So when this happens right there, for me to market execute, that is perfectly fine off of that candle. So let's see how it does want to play out right here. Let's see if we want to create a new fair value gap. Now, of course, since we didn't sting into that fair value gap, me going break even is a little bit of a different story, as in then it becomes a little bit more difficult to go break even right there, because I don't have that pinpoint entry, and it can always still do something like this unless it creates or stings into it again or creates a fair value gap lower. So that is something to take into account as well, that it has its pros and cons. It's again that picking your poison part, but I'm fine with the entry right now. Needs to run to there for me to take profit, so that is perfectly fine. Alright, perfect. Alright, so right here we were pretty close to take profit right there. But the only thing is, again, like I mentioned, since I market executed right there, if I, of course, if price came into the fair value gap, which it didn't, of course, and we were having that entry right there, and we had a sting into the fair value gap, we entered right there, then it would have been a different story, as in then I would have been break even. But right now we still have this full leg that it can come back into to then continue lower. So the thing here is that I need to pay very close attention to how we deal with the fair value gaps as well. If we do push lower or try to push lower and you fail to push lower, then I will maybe go break even. But currently I'm not break even just yet, because we can still very easily do something along the lines of this and then continue lower. So I am very aware of that. Now, I of course would not, I wouldn't expect a huge retracement, as in if this happens right there, that would worry me a little bit. Only a sting that we're currently having right there to continue lower would be ideal, of course. A big retracement, that's not necessary at all right now. But that is something to take into account, that right now the break-even scenario is a little bit more difficult than if you were to enter off the fair value gap alone right there. So in order for me to actually go break even right now, I would like to see a swing high being created and then a new fair value gap lower, or at least the push already, the expansion phase of that new fair value gap that is already close to that low right there. That would be enough for me to go break even right there. Alright, let's see what we do want to do. 1 hour until we create a 1 hour fair value gap potentially. Alright, perfect. Yes, perfect. So now I am break even, waiting for it to hit take profit. Even though we only got the expansion phase right there, there's literally no reason for price currently to come back up and then continue lower. That would make absolutely zero sense. So if order flow wants to be high probability like it is, and it wants to keep on being high probability, then the thing it should do is create a fair value gap lower off of that right there, off of this move right now. So that means that this would be the expansion phase right there, meaning that the next candle or this candle hits take profit. Doesn't have to, but all it has to do is create a fair value gap lower right there, which means that this right now should be the protected high, unless in about 48 minutes we create that next 1 hour fair value gap right there. Then of course it can come back into it and come back into that 1 hour order block as well. But then again, this for me would be enough to go break even right there. So let's see, and see if it does want to hit take profit, or it wants to tag us out at break even. Who knows? Yes, perfect. So that's it. That is the trade done. That is my take profit hit right there. Perfect take profit hit right there. And the thing we mentioned as well, just to recap it right here, is exactly what played out, right? So that is exactly my thought process behind it as well. As in, if order flow is going to follow through. It should follow through off of these fair value gaps right there, first off. But again, that is us more so guessing. It can come a bit higher and then continue lower. Now, the main thing is, all right, if we are expanding lower, so we have that big down candle, then that should be the expansion phase and create a new fair value gap to continue lower. So that is very, how you can view that logic very easily in a sense, and that you can use as well for your break-even rules, etc. Now, it's not fully, you could argue it's not fully objective, but I also don't think it's fully subjective. So that is exactly the trade done right there. And if price is willing to follow through right now, just to touch on it a little bit more as well, because it is quite interesting, then this fair value gap with that order block should hold, then this high should hold. Unless, and this is where it becomes interesting, because right now in about 22 minutes, then this leg right there becomes low fair value gap or low probability. So you can enter off of that, but keeping in mind that in the next, so once this candle closes and then the next candle closes, if we've not expanded lower yet, then this whole leg right there is low probability, and then it can do something like this and continue lower off of that. So that is also very important to do take into account right there. So that is the trade recap done, and that was the live trade right there that played out on DAX, my beloved DAX. And if you've been a long time viewer, or you've been a part of the Moneymaker team for a little bit longer, then you know how much I used to love DAX, especially in London, etc. And I might just go back to my roots right here, because I love DAX, and it's very nice, especially after 3 a.m. open right there. After 3 a.m. open, it's very lovely. It's a really nice instrument, but it's been consolidating for a long time, and that is why I do feel like with a lot of these instruments that are very volatile during a specific time, like the indices in general, so DAX is a part of that. I feel like a lot of the time trading a flow trading plan is better than trading a filtering process. Now, although this is quite the filtering process trading plan right here, because we are coming off the daily fair value gap right there, and we do have the 15-minute ST plus read. So it's a combination of both, I would argue. All right, that is the trade recap. Perfect. Thank you.